What's going on, my people? What's going on? Merry Christmas. How you guys' holidays doing, man? Hope you guys spend time with family. Hope you guys, you guys got gift. You got gift for your families. Your family got gift for you. This is a special moment of the year, where we get to appreciate one another and we get to, just hug each other and just let each other know that we are there for one another. You feel me? But today over in the UK, because I live in the US and I don't think we kind of it's not a significant day for us, but in the UK it's known as Boxing Day, which was the only Premier League game on Boxing Day. Manchester United versus Newcastle, which ended up Manchester 1, Newcastle nil. And I have to tell you, um, Man United held on. They held on very impressively defensively in keeping this clean sheet. They held on compared to where Newcastle was coming in hot in the second half, coming in so strong. The ball progression, the ball circulation, the build up, the high press. They were doing everything in their power to equalize this game or at least score or win this game. But I don't know if it was the football gods. I don't know if it was Jehovah. I don't know if it was any other type of God or I don't know what it was. Maybe it's fate. Maybe it's destiny. But they said no. At Old Trafford, Manchester United is walking away with this W, and that's what happened. Manchester United got all 3 points, and now they're level on points with Liverpool and Chelsea. And on the fifth position, they're in the fifth position, just right below Chelsea, which means that as a Chelsea fan, we have to win our game because we cannot have Manchester United being over us, especially this season. We cannot have that. But I have to tell you, man, um, first half, I think like this was the best brand of football I've seen from Manchester United so far in terms of ball progression, in terms of, just build up, building up the ball, progressing the ball, attacking, passes in the final third, looking so threatening, looking so dangerous. Manchester United in the first half, this was the best performance I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's because about 7 players were out of the Man United lineup, like they had Amad Diallo is out, um, Mazarawi is out, Mbeumo is out. And those guys are out because of the Afghan tournament, not because they were injured, but because they have to go play for, Ivory Coast, Morocco, and Cameroon, respectfully. And then you have Harry Maguire, Lit, Bruno Fernandes, who has been one of the most available players. He's injured, and now I think he's injured with a hamstring injury. Crazy. And then you have Kobe Manu, who should be back anytime soon, in my opinion. I think in a week or two he should be back. But this is about 7 players who would usually start in this Man United team are out for African tournament and for injuries reasons. And I have to say that for Man United to grab a win was really, really impressive to me. And for Man United to play the way they played in the first half was very, very impressive to me. I was really, really impressed with how Man United played so well in the first half. And I'm asking, how did Man United play so well in the first half? Well, they didn't play with a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 or a back three formation or anything like that. Ruben Amorim came out with a 4-2-3-1 formation. He played a back four, which was so impressive to me. And I feel like if you're a Man United fan, you are shocked by this. You are shocked and you are also impressed by how Amorim was finally able to make a formation change that allowed these guys to play the best type of football you guys have seen in the first half all season long. Luke Shaw played as a left back. You have Lisandro Martinez, who was a captain. He was the captain of this game, and I have to say Martinez was amazing. He was solid. He played like a leader, man. Martinez was really good. He paired up with Heaven, who was also solid in my opinion, and the other center back very solid. And then you have Diego Dalot as a right back, and I think he played okay as well. He was really good. He had a chance in the second half, and defensively he was really solid, man. He was able to push back Gordon, although Gordon got by him a few times in the second half. But this first half, this Man United team was so amazing, bro. They were pressing the ball up, they were progressing the ball defensively, they were very stabilized. It's like the players knew what to do. It's like they knew what to do. They knew when and how to overlap. Luke Shaw and Diego Dallo was, you know, linking up with Cunha and Patrick Dorgu, and they were just overlapping each other and knowing when to get back on defense. You know, Casemiro and Ugarte in a double pivot, and Mason Mount has the number 10, with Sesko as the number 9. And Sesko to me was the weakest link of this team. Benjamin Sesko was the weakest link of this team, in my opinion. I feel like, look, man, it's about time my United fans gotta start talking about Benjamin Sesko because he had only one opportunity, in my opinion. That was in the second half, where like he hit the ball. But that's when we're gonna talk about that later in the second half. But this first half shows me that if Ruben Amorim can play this 4-2-3-1 while also having his 7 players back from international duty and injuries, tells me that Man United can go far. Man United can accomplish a lot this season, points wise and record wise, because this 4-2-3-1 was working so good for these guys in the first half. Um, they had a couple chances. Cunha had a couple chances. Newcastle, this first half was very poor. They could not coordinate. They were not cohesive enough. They could not get the ball to the striker, look, Baltimore. Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon was clueless. They couldn't have opportunity to cross the ball in. They couldn't dribble past the players. I'm like, this is the worst performance I've seen out of Newcastle all season long. Because I was like, this is not the Newcastle that I saw against Chelsea last week. The Newcastle I saw against Chelsea last week, where there were 2 goals up against Chelsea in the first half, it was like night and day between these two teams. And this lineup was almost the same. It was almost a similar lineup. So I was so disappointed with Newcastle in the first half. I mean, any Man United fan, Newcastle fan will let you know Newcastle was shit in the first half. Midway into the first half, and I feel like I saw one of the most beautiful goals I've seen this season, and the beautiful goal that I will probably ever see of Patrick Dorgu, man. It was off a set piece, and where Patrick Dorgu, I forgot who it was, Baltimore, he could not clear the ball out, and the ball came over to it was bouncing off to Patrick Dorgu, and Dorgu came with a volley with such a short, powerful, and sweet volley right into the bottom left corner, and bang, right there. Ramsdale, the Newcastle goalie, could not get he almost had his hand on it, but I kept saying that ball was so powerful that it went past Ramsdale's hands. Ramsdale was not saving that. Doesn't matter if it got there in time or not. He was not saving that. And honestly, I was so happy for Patrick Dorgu because Patrick Dorgu to me was the best player for Man United this whole game. Defensively, he was clearing the ball out. He was ball retaining. He was ball progressing. I mean, wow. Offensively, he was amazing, making some nice runs, linking up with Sesko, linking up with Cunha, linking up with Diego Dalot, playing amazing football. And just 1-0 Man United in the first half, and then we went to halftime. At the beginning of second half, which was crazy, As a Chelsea fan, I'm not shocked by this, and I think Man United fans was not shocked by this. But Mason Mount got injured. I don't know what the injury was, but he got hurt. Came off the game just 1 minute into halftime. He got injured, and sorry, cough here. And a young kid called Jack Fletcher came into the game. And honestly, I think the kid was okay overall, but he did the best he could. And I actually felt sorry for Mason Mount because I think Mason Mount was very solid for Man United. You know, he was one of the best part of the midfield for Man United, especially now that Bruno Fernandes is out. A lot falls on Mason Mount to find a way to create opportunities for Man United to score, and he did not have that. And he could not play a whole 90 minutes because he got injured and was taken off, replaced by Jack Fletcher. Um, Second half, I felt like Newcastle, they were they look a lot more alive. They were balling, they were progressing the ball, they were circulating the ball, they were pressing, just straight up trying every chances they have they can equalize this game. And they were a number of chances that Newcastle had to to equalize this game, to make this game 1-1. Now I have to be honest, bro. First half, I give credit to Ruben Amorim for playing a 4-2-3-1 and allowing Man United to play this amazing football and dominate the first half. This second half team was night and day. I did not recognize this team. I was like, is this the Man United team that was playing amazing football in the first half? Because this second half, what they were playing was abysmal. It felt like Man United was like, okay, we have a goal. We're one goal up. So you know what? We are gonna pack the bus. I don't understand why Amorim would take off Casemiro. Casemiro was very solid. You're taking off Casemiro and then you're putting Ugarte to play a whole 90 minutes. Who Ugarte defensively, yes, defensively he will give you something, but when it comes to progressing the ball, he can't give you that. The guy is not techy enough. Casemiro is techy enough to progress that ball, especially when Mason Mount got injured and was taken off. So now Man United injury list is just piling up because Mason Mount is out now. And you're taking off Casemiro and you're leaving on Ugarte. You're putting in Lenny Yoro, a defender. A defender. You're putting in Lenny Yoro, a defender. For what? Why? It was so stupid. Because now he gave all the opportunities for Newcastle to equalize this game and win this game. And as for Newcastle, shame on y'all. Shame on Newcastle. The fact that you could not equalize against this team is a shame. They should be having their head down, nodding their head in disgrace and disappointment for not being able to equalize this game or score or at least win this game. Because all what Man United did second half was literally pack the fucking bus. Like they were literally like you look at the heat map. You look at the heat map and you will realize that look at this heat map, bro. Look at this heat map. This was Newcastle, the whole pitch. Man United was held up in their own box for the duration of the second half. For the duration of the second half, Man United was held up in their own fucking box, bro. That should just freaking tell you. They were like, they did not do much in the second half. They were just poor. And I have to put this blame, and I have to put this blame on Ruben Amorim for not allowing this team to progress the ball the way they want to, bro. You should not have taken off Casemiro. I understand that Mason Mount is got injured and is taken off. But sometimes offense is the best way of defense because it allowed Newcastle to just have the ball and just keep on attacking, 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 and attacking. And that's why I think Man United goalie Lamins is going to win man of the match, or maybe Patrick Dorgu, because Lamins and Patrick Dorgu were the best players for Man United right now. And I think the players did the best they could to keep a clean sheet. And the fact that Newcastle could not equalize is complete shame on them. Now, I do have to say that Sesko, we Man United fans have to talk about Benjamin Sesko because he had an opportunity to put this game to bed and making and putting one in doubling up Man United, putting this game up 2 goals to nil. Sesko had an opportunity, it hit the ball. Moments later, Lewis Hall had an opportunity, it hit the ball again, hit the post. Both players hit the ball within minutes of the game. That was crazy to me and just shows that, Sesko is just, he's not it for me. Joshua Zexi came on, but Joshua Zexi could not do much because by the time he came on, Man United was in a defensive. Their strategy was literally just to be defensive, so there's nothing much he could do. And even if you want to hold up the play, Newcastle would just double him up because he has no one that he could link up with. Because who can he link up with? Cunha and Dogu. By the time they try to, by the time they get to Zugzi to link up with Man United, Newcastle already has retained the ball. They got the ball back. Either way, second half was shocking for Man United, but I will say that overall it was not a good game for Man United. It was not a good game for Newcastle, but Man United will walk away with the 3 points, and at the end of it all, that's what matters the most. The 3 points is what matters the most, and Man United got that 3 points. And now they are 29 points leveled up with Chelsea and Liverpool while holding the fifth position of the table. And Newcastle will still be at the 11th position with 23 points when they had an opportunity to grab 3 points or at least salvage a point, but they failed to do that. And one thing I will say is I don't know why Eddie Howe allowed Baltimore to come on. This guy needs to play the whole 90 minutes. Baltimore at least may have scored, man, because Newcastle had the quality on the bench and it still didn't do much. Young Whistle came on, Harvey Barnes came on, Joelinton came on, and yet they still couldn't score. Crazy to me. So crazy to me by Newcastle. Like, this is night and day that I saw from this Newcastle team when they went up against Chelsea last week. But oh well, I don't care enough. It is what it is. Hopefully I'm gonna make my review about Chelsea versus Aston Villa because we have to win. We cannot allow Manchester United to be over Chelsea. We cannot allow that. All right, guys, this was my review on Manchester United versus Newcastle United. Let me know what you guys think. You guys tell me, yeah, how do you guys feel about this back four formation? And how did you guys feel about the second half performance, especially packing the bus against Newcastle? All right, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.